Hi there, Adele here from Team EQ with a really juicy topic today, how to cope with difficult personalities. So pull up a chair, grab a cup if you need to, have a pen and paper handy. Of course, there is a download down below that goes with this video. I think it's a really important topic to bring to the fore because holy smokes, if ever there's a time that there have been difficult personalities out there, it's 2023 and onwards. People respond and people react to life given the strategies and skills that they have. And for you as somebody who's involved in a team or leading a team, this is again set to expand your repertoire, your toolbox, that you have a different set of tools that you can aim towards to cope with this thing called difficult personalities. I was just reading the newspaper this morning, and I kid you not, there were two ladies. They were on a flight somewhere in America. It was a long haul flight, say 12 hours. Nothing if you fly from Australia to anywhere else in the world. And lady in front wanted to recline. She was in economy. Both of them were in economy. No extra leg space. So it's, Cal class is hard. It's challenging at the best of times, and especially if you're going to cramped in for 12 hours. So lady wanted to recline. The woman behind her didn't want her to recline, and so she stuck her arms out. Eventually she stuck her knees out. She stuck any kind of thing out so that this woman wouldn't recline and tilt her chair, which she had the right to do, to behind her. So I guess I'm sharing that because there are difficult people out there. And how do you navigate this? How do you navigate it within your team? How do you navigate it for clients that are, with teams that are front facing with consumers? I used to be in the wedding trade for all my previous lifetime sins. I used to be a wedding and events planner and did lots of hire out of wedding sashes and chairs and chair covers. And holy smokes, did we have to deal with some interesting and different people and some really difficult personalities, which I kind of stumbled upon by accident. Again, the download today is to help you to work your way through it a lot easier. You only need to know kind of two areas that will help to whittle it down. But to cope with difficult personalities does require some degree or some knowledge of human behavior. I want to make it really simple and easy so that, again, you can access it whenever you want, however you want, getting ready, prepared for perhaps a meeting that could be contentious or that could involve some uncomfortable conversations. The framework, again, is going to help you to structure that communication. I don't believe in scripts. It's a framework that helps your brain to just start to articulate and communicate in a different way. In the coaching world, we have a saying, a belief, a saying, a success principle. I like that one. It's a success principle that says that the meaning of communication is the response it gets. So let me say that again. The meaning of communication is the response it gets. So if you're typing out an email and you're sending that email and you're not getting any response back from that email, well, what in your communication could you change in order to get to a response that you're after? Doesn't necessarily mean that they have to buy into your communication as in, yes, they must do what you say they do. It's if you're not getting a response, you're not getting feedback from those people, the meaning of communication is the response it gets. So in the case of the email, I had it this morning. I've been dealing with a client. I sent her something 5 days ago via email. I haven't heard back from her. I know where her different personalities that she has, because I've done her profile. So now I can change my communication and just, instead of just saying, well, I sent you an email. I think the sentence, I sent you an email, is an easy cop out. The platinum rule also applies and helps, or this helps, framework helps with the platinum rule. And the golden rule is always do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. And the platinum rule is do unto others as they would wish to be done unto them. And again, if you don't have any understanding of human behavior, especially difficult people, then how can you kind of do unto them if you don't understand where they're coming from? So today's worksheet is definitely an awareness piece. It helps you to understand where people naturally lie. And what happens when people are under pressure, they tend to revert back can't speak very well today, they tend to revert back to their default behavior. What I also see within workspace in the last 12 years of being in a coach within the team kind of dynamic phase is that people do a little bit of an assessment. They do a personality profile and they go, oh, wow, that's really interesting. And then they shelve it. They go and put it away somewhere for another rainy day. And that rainy day never appears or it never arrives. I can't tell you how many groups I've walked into where we've done profiling. And the first question I ask is, okay, you've done profiling before. What's going to make this one different? And what have you done with the profile ever since you got it? Crickets, absolute crickets. So again, you want a different outcome. You want a different result. You've got to do something differently. And today's team flex chart, the team flex chart is going to make things a lot easier, because what I've also noticed is that when things get too complex, especially understanding difficult personality types, people just zone out. So you want to keep it simple, lean, and clean. And the team flex chart is going to do exactly that. Remember, in a team, we are made up of the sum of all parts. So if we understand what all those parts are, then we can also start getting a lot of flow, a lot of rhythm in our team. What I want you to know a little bit about is that people's nervous systems currently, so like their nervous system, their fight, flight, freeze response is pretty highly tuned. I mean, like it's off the charts. I said I've been doing this for 12 years in terms of the coaching capacity. Officially, I actually started doing it when I was about in my last year of high school. I was the team captain for the athletics, and I had to do or take on this highly motivating type of role. What I'm noticing over the last few years is the human being's capacity, the nervous system has been so far stretched that the only way that we kind of know currently how to respond is either with fight or with flight or with freeze. Like freeze is almost the other side of the spectrum of our nervous system. Fight is like the go-to one. People are they're, what do they call them? Defensively aggressive before you've actually even opened your mouth or raised your eyebrows. And that's the fight. Other people actively avoid, that's the flee. And because the nervous systems aren't attuned. And so that helps you to understand a little bit more about human behavior. When you look at the Team Flex chart, you are going to be able to utilize with a lot more volition and therefore step into that zone called empathy. That if you were in their shoes, how would you react? If you were in their shoes, would you require a different type of rhythm? If you were in their shoes, do you require more information? If you were in their shoes, do you require a lot more rapport to be made? Team Flexibility Chart is going to be your go-to that you can have a look at that. It's going to increase your understanding of human behavior, and that's going to help you to adjust and be the more flexible person in the room or within the relationship area. We also believe as coaches is the person who has the most behavioral flexibility can lead the conversation, can lead the energy in the room. When you don't have behavioral flexibility, meaning you got to do it my way or the highway, it kind of leads itself into that old leadership paradigm once again, and it doesn't have a lot of room for adjustment. So we want to be flexible, want to be understanding, we want to be a good human being, and to be able to do that thing called pace lead. So today's download is super easy. There's two things that you need to know once you download it. Have one person in mind, or perhaps a few people in mind that you perhaps could get on better with. It always helps. You take the download and you'll see there's an axis in the download. So a horizontal and a vertical axis. So it splits it into 4 quads. And two of the things that you need to know is that person who you don't get on as well with and whose communication doesn't seem to gel with your communication. Are they fast with regard to their thinking, their speaking, their decision-making, or are they on the slower side? So that's one of the things that you need to know. And is that other person, are they very task-orientated or are they very people-orientated? Those are usually the two kind of butting head areas when it comes to dealing with difficult people and difficult personalities. That helps enormously already to just demystify. So if nothing else, you just need to remember those two things. Are the people fast-paced, fast-thinking, fast decision-making, or are they slower-paced with the decisions, thinking, the nuances, the way they speak, or are they very people-orientated or very task-orientated, task-driven? Those are normally the most contentious areas for people when it comes to various personality types. I think it's good to understand with personality types that people are doing the best they can with the resources that they have. You're now given an opportunity to have some different resources that can only stand in good stead. Again, you can either do something with the worksheet or you can just have it kind of hanging up on your wall. We want you to work it, robust it, so that you can have a better outcome. Because remember, the quality of your life is dictated to you by the quality of your relationships. Funny enough, and we do go through this with our communication piece in the Sustainable Workforce Project. Communication, verbal communication, actually only makes up 7% of the whole communication spectrum. Body language, biggie, 55%. So 55% of what people are actually showing and sharing to you can be lost if you don't know what to look for. Okay, and that's what the Team Flex chart's going to show you a little bit more about, is what to look for. Okay, 55% is body language, 35% is tone, so clipped words, blunt words, punctuation, where people use punctuation in their sentence. That's all got to do with their tone, whether it is fast-paced, slow-paced, high, low, nervous pitch. You know, I see it so often when we work with teams that are like restaurant teams, for example, and they want to upsell and they're not confident in their upsell. And all of a sudden the body language, the tone goes up, the toes go up, everything goes up because there's a discomfort with regard to that. That's more the in-depth stuff. But 55% body language, 38% tone. It should leave us with 7% of which is only the spoken language. That's part of our Sustainable Workforce Project. So if you want to create the best year yet for your team, and especially if your team is front-facing, so a lot of clients are they're dealing with a lot of the public, dealing with difficult personalities is something that is going to crop up more and more. Pop a chat somewhere down on the page and I'll have a quick discussion with you and enjoy the download, which is yours for free today.